Hello, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Now We're Talking. I'm Scott.
I'm Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Hi.
We're starting this podcast out after we've had some conversations over dinner where Julie said, hey, those talks sound like it make for a pretty good podcast. I guess time will tell whether that bears out or not.
Yeah, we know you guys don't know us yet. We grew up in very different parts of the country, grew up in different timelines, really. I'm older than Scott, and we have different backgrounds. So a lot of our conversations and life experiences cause us to not always agree on things, but we always respect each other's opinion, and some of them we feel like are worth sharing. So here we are.
Yeah, we'll cover all kinds of topics, current events, sports, travel, music, maybe delve into politics, relationships, and life lessons. We're hoping to have fun. We're hoping to have fun and entertaining discussions. May end up being even informative and enlightening, but we don't want to set that bar too high.
Yeah, let's keep that bar low to start.
Yeah, good thinking. All right, so let's get into it. I think our first topic today we want to talk about is major. Is that right?
Yeah, let's talk about major.
Yeah, cool. All right. So this year, well, I should say that for the last 2 years, this household has been the winner of my family's NCAA tournament, the basketball, March Madness tournament.
Not your family, your employers.
Well, my employers, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
So, but last year, Julie joined, even though she's not an employee. They let her join, and they didn't want to do that again this year because she won. But then this year I won. And let's not. Probably shouldn't bring up last year because Julie didn't get a prize.
Right.
But this year, they actually did a prize, and I got a little gift card. I forget what, like for Amazon or something. And then I also got this little statue. It's like a basketball with a face on it. He's holding a little. He's holding a trophy. It's kind of meta. And then there's he's sitting on like this base, and he's got a plaque on him and stuff. And anyway, when that came, he stands about like 5 inches tall. And when that came, maybe 6 inches. Anyway, when that came up, we were like, well, what am I going to do with this thing now? I'm not going to just leave. I don't want to just leave it on my desk. And we came up with the idea of doing, as Julie called it, it's like a Flat Stanley, right? Where we send him out to family and friends who are taking trips. And they take pictures of him in places he's been to. The first place is what Shanna took him to the Kentucky Derby, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so she's got pictures of him there, and on the plane, the jet that they were on, the pilot's holding him in one, and so we in any case we post these pictures with little stories on Instagram. And so like when he's in the cockpit, I made a joke about he's helping to fly the plane home.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And then he went to New Zealand.
Right.
Uh,
He's a rock star already. He recently got shipped to some friends of ours in California, and he got lost on the way because I had an extra digit in the address, but the U.S. Postal Service had him going back and forth between Palm Springs, California, and San Bernardino like 6 times, and we were afraid we were never going to get him back, but he did make it back, and now we've corrected the address, sent him back out, so he's currently on his way up what I call the left coast highway, going up towards Portland, and then I guess they'll come back down the other way. So
yeah, the last pictures we got, he's at Yosemite.
right.
The last one was at like at El Capitan.
Yeah.
So we, like I said, we set up this Instagram page, and it's so I can tell you his name. I think we've mentioned it, but his name is Major Award.
Oh, right.
And that comes from that movie A Christmas Story, where the father wins he gets the letter saying that he's won a major award, and it turns out to be that lamp, the leg lamp with the fishnet stocking, and when he comes and it's fragile. It must be French.
Right.
So anyway, so that's where he got his name. It was silly, and we just never came up with something different, so we stuck with it. So now it's on Instagram. What is it? What's his?
It's MJR_award.
MJR_award.
Yeah.
So you can find him there, and see his travels. So like Julie said, he's in California and going up to Oregon and then coming back down. And then I know we're going to take him to Las Vegas and
Right.
he's going to like Kansas, right? He's going to
Yeah.
Kansas.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to KU, basketball country, his home country.
That's right.
So he's super excited about that.
Right. One of your friends is going there, right? Taking
Right.
him,
Yeah. Yeah.
hoping to get him on the court there.
Yeah. Yeah. She went to college there. So, yeah,
All right.
it'll
So
be fun.
yeah, so that's cool. So it's something fun that we do with Major.
Because sometimes we're just like 7 years old.
All right. So what's next, Julie?
Well, I wanted to talk just briefly about our AT&T switch from T-Mobile, and I'm not um I could talk like 20 minutes about this because I'm pretty fired up about it, but I don't want to come off as just sounding like I'm trying to throw them under the bus, even though under the bus would be a good place for them right now. It was a transition that did not go smoothly at all. It from the get-go. They had the credit card situation so messed up that we ended up having to cancel one of Scott's credit cards. And it would happen to be one where he has it on file with a number of other um, vendors to pay, each month for recurring charges. And so it wasn't just an AT&T issue. Then it sort of parlayed into the rest of our life. And anyway, we finally got that cleaned up, and got the phones returned. One had to be mailed. One had to be taken to the local AT&T store. And then we paid for Scott's mother-in-law's phone, and she's in another state. So there's just been a lot of coordination, and it's mostly fine. One of the things though that they promised us, and maybe you want to talk about this, we'd gone to BJ's to get salmon. If you've never had the salmon from BJ's, he's so good. Anyway, they'd stopped us in the hallway and said, hey, we've got quite a deal going here, $250 gift cards if you want to switch your phones, and
Per line.
per line, yeah. So would have been enough to at least pay for one of the phones. And so when we listened to them and compared to all the things that we get with T-Mobile, and it's pretty much a wash at this point, so we decided we'd go ahead and do it. And after having jumped through all the hurdles and get everything squared away, the last thing was to get these gift cards, and they were supposed to be $300. And so they
Right.
came
So
at 250.
right. So when we first started talking to them, they said it was $250, and per line. And then there were two guys there. One of the guys went off somewhere, I don't know, smoke break or whatever, and he comes back and he said, "Oh, it's $300 now, $300 per line." And the guy's like, "Oh my God, it's $300 per line. You guys that's lucky, perfect timing." So we're like, "Okay, well, we were going to do it at 250, but now you're giving us at 300.
Right.
We'll take it." So yeah, so then as Julie was saying, when we got like the things back with like the transaction, the card numbers or whatever,
Yeah.
it said 250.
Yeah. So, we logged in, we thought, well, let's just take a look and make sure it's, going to be right. And it wasn't. So I called AT&T back again, and their wait times are ridiculous. Sometimes they're so long, they'll say like, we'll just call you when we're ready. Your wait time's going to be 92 minutes. So, so who wants to sit on the phone that long? So anyway, they did finally call, or I called them actually on Saturday to find out what the deal was with the gift cards, and that department doesn't work on the weekends. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just go back to BJ's and we'll talk to that guy. I'd like to have a conversation with him anyway. So get there, and he remembers me and says, yeah, it's supposed to be 300, and I'm just going to fill out a document and send it to them, and it's a resolution ticket, and then they'll know to call you, and then they'll call you in 24 hours. And I said, well, first of all, no one's calling me in 24 hours because that department doesn't work on the weekends. I tried to call them before I came up here, and he goes, oh, like that was a surprise to him. And and decided to let us know too that the clock is ticking. We only have 75 days to use that money before it's not good anymore. And that clock started ticking as soon as they sent the email to us to tell us it was time to go claim our reward. And we can't claim it because it isn't right. So spent a good deal of the time yesterday morning on the phone with them to try to get that worked out. And the girl I ended up with kept telling me that she was actually doing me a favor by trying to help me, because even though this guy works for AT&T, he doesn't really work for AT&T because we got our phones at BJ's Wholesale, which seems ridiculous to me. And long story short, she couldn't help me. She wanted to go back and read the fine print on contracts, and I'm like, you go do that on your own time. I'm not staying on the phone while you do that. And she said, well, let me check with my resources. If she put me on hold to check with her resources once, she did it 4 times. And I'm already going on about this longer than I planned to, but here we are.
So what's the bottom line? I mean, where are we at with that?
I'm still waiting for them to that department is supposed to be reaching out to me via email to let me know that it's been fixed, and no such email has come. And I check my phone 17 times a day, and it's not there.
You check your spam, because the other stuff went to the spam.
Yes, and that's why I created yesterday a contact.
Oh, right.
With the little poo emoji, so I wouldn't miss them.
Oh, you might have to go back to BJ's on Friday. But then they say when you went there before, you went there one time and they weren't there, and the people there said to come Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That they're always there. Yeah, I've made 2 trips previously during the week and they weren't there.
Trying to go on Friday with a baseball bat.
Yeah. Well, they probably sell bats in there, so I could just go buy a gross of them.
That's right. They sell them by the gross.
Right. So I don't know. Anyway, I just think if y'all have an occasion to switch to AT&T from your carrier, really think hard about it. Because I am not at all a happy camper. Wish we'd never switched. And T-Mobile, if you're listening to this, come back and get us.
Yeah, well, let's not get carried away. We have phones to pay off now.
Well, maybe they'll do that for us.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, I know I would say that, we've switched before. We switched from AT&T to T-Mobile at one point. We switched from Verizon to AT&T to T-Mobile back to AT&T. Whoever's got the better deal, I'll switch. And we haven't had this problem before.
No.
I mean, so my advice would be more, don't do it like at a third party place.
Yeah.
If you're going to switch, because like when we switched to T-Mobile from AT&T, we went to the T-Mobile store and got everything taken care of, and it was easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah. That's true.
So I would say more just like when somebody at BJ's or Costco or somewhere stops you,
keep on walking.
Yeah, just keep walking. Just say you're not interested, even if you might be.
Yeah.
So we live, we learn.
Yeah.
All right. We'll keep you updated. Hopefully next podcast we'll have some good news.
Yeah.
I don't know. At some point though, you got to just go like, screw it. We'll just take the $750 and
no.
Okay.
No. I've got too much time invested in this now. They're going to make it right.
All right. It's your time.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. You're the boss.
All right. What else are we talking about today?
All right. So, what the Olympics are just ending or about to end. Probably by the time people hear this, the closing ceremonies will be happening or about to happen.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. So, there's lots of stories about what's going on, and we can talk about medal counts. Right now, the U.S. has almost 100 total, so we're doing well. But
cool.
One of the stories that's come out of it is that people are there have been a number of proposals at the games, and there have been there was a Chinese badminton player that proposed to another Chinese badminton player when her mixed doubles team won the gold. And here she is winning the gold, and some other dude comes up and steals her spotlight and asks her to marry him. And there were a couple of French sailors that, when they came on shore after winning the bronze, a couple dudes come up and steal their spotlight. And
So wrong.
so I'm just kind of wondering, how do you feel about that? Like,
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, I think if they talked about it previously and the bride to be or girlfriend said, sure, I think that'd be a cool way to commemorate our my gold medal or silver or whatever. I think that's fantastic. But my guess is that conversation never happened
yeah, it actually did for the French sailors.
this year.
Yeah, yeah. They
Okay.
they said that one of them, they were interviewing them, and they said that our boyfriends at the beginning of it said that if we want a medal, we would be engaged. And then she joked and said that she said that her now fiance had said that only if it's gold or silver, and
Oh,
they
nice.
won the bronze. So she thought, well, I'm not gonna get engaged, but he did anyway, even though she came in third
Yeah.
place. Wasn't that nice of him?
What a chum.
But yeah, but there was a time like there's in the story that they said back in when it was in Brazil that like she was on the medal stand and the guy proposed to her while she's on the stand.
Nope.
I just
No, thank you.
I yeah I don't get it.
I don't either. I mean, did he just feel like he needed some of the limelight?
I guess
I
I
mean, it just seems like to me she'd worked so hard to get there. I mean, these athletes train their entire lives with the hopes of being able to stand on
right.
that stand someday and get a medal, to be upstaged by some goofy boyfriend who also wants to be caught on camera with on his knee with a ring just seems, I don't know, silly and
Yeah,
well,
I mean, I agree. And it's and it's like when people get proposed or get proposed. Hello, English. When they get engaged and people get engaged at other people's weddings.
right,
And I'm just like, it's not your day.
right,
It's their day. It's
right.
their time. You don't need to put yourself in the spotlight like that.
Totally agree.
No, kind of the same thing.
I did see on, I think somebody, it was on the Today Show, I think maybe, uh, a guy who'd won, and I don't even know what medal he won, but his girlfriend of 8 years, I think she said, um, he decided to propose to her, and that's different
Yeah.
because he won the medal. He's already got his medal. This was the next morning or
Oh,
something.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
But even if
and
he did it on the stand or something, like he's sharing his spotlight with her.
right.
He's not in taking over hers.
It was really sweet too because he'd been counting the days since they started talking over that 8 year period. And for every day that they had this conversation, he said some of them were in Snapchat or whatever, um, he had a flower for her. And so these people were just bringing baskets of flowers up around
Jesus.
him. It was really sweet.
He had to hawk his gold medal for that.
He said, yeah, I got the medal, but she got the diamond. So it was cute. I thought it was real sweet.
That was sweet.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. So the next thing we want to talk about is we're going to do a segment we're calling our favorite thing of the week.
Right.
And for this week, it was we went to the theater or to the show, as Julie would say, to see Deadpool and Wolverine.
And I loved it. Now I've seen the Deadpools before, but I'm not really a Marvel comic kind of gal. So, when Scott watches them here at the house, he just watches them by himself. I usually I'm just not into that sort of thing. And but I don't know what it was. Maybe it was Ryan who got me to watch the Deadpools. But the writing is so good. their banter back and forth is so just funny to me. I love listening to it. And I know I miss a lot because they come at you fast sometimes, but it's really witty and I I just think cute as they can be. And the old dog that's in it this time, I don't know. I don't remember him from before. Was he the Deadpool dog with the
No,
tongue?
no, no, no.
Yeah, he's precious. But anyway, what were your thoughts on it?
Oh, yeah, I loved it. I mean, I like you. I like all of the Deadpool movies. Um, and I mean, I've probably I don't know. Well, now you've seen the first one a number of times too, but
Yeah,
I've probably seen the first one 5 or 6 times now, and the second one a few times, and now the third one. But yeah, I mean, I think they're so funny, and um, there's a lot of jokes, there's a lot of innuendo, there's a lot of
yeah,
it's non-subtle. Some of the stuff is a little, some of the blood and gore and stuff is over the top, and I think that kind of, you know, like I don't really like it. I think if you don't really like that sort of thing, you can sort of accept it in this movie because it's just not as like it's so over the top that it's almost comical.
right.
I mean, there's just like gallons of blood. I
Yeah,
mean,
I still wouldn't take kids.
yeah,
Yeah, don't take
definitely
kids.
do not take kids to it
Yeah,
because aside from I mean, just even the opening sequence where he's just like killing everybody with the bones.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's just there's so much, and that's just the first 5 minutes.
yeah,
So yeah, it's definitely not for kids. It's R for a reason.
yeah.
So don't take your kids, but take yourself and enjoy it, and just laugh and have fun, and you know, uh, so yeah, definitely recommend it. And we don't go to the theater that often,
Right.
go to the movies that often, so it was a special occasion for us to get to go.
It had been a long time, and I guess so long that now they have assigned seating.
Right.
Who knew they
I
were doing that?
did not know.
I mean, we're up there getting our popcorn, and they're like, "You want to go ahead and pick your seat?" And we're like, "What?" Anyway, craziness. It's great. I think it's awesome. Um, that you can, figure out where you want to sit. I want to sit in the middle, middle of the row, middle of the theater.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, it was great. And because it was on Monday, there were like 6 people in there with us, which was fantastic. But there happened to be a guy right behind us, and he was a laugher. He liked to laugh. But who didn't? Everybody laughed at this show.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we'll wait till it comes out on streaming, and I guess probably on Disney. We'll wait until then to see it again, but we'll definitely watch it again.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, all right, cool. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right, so our next segment is and this we're kind of taking this from the Reddit. I know most people are probably aware of Reddit. It's called "Am I the Asshole?" or AITAH. It's pretty famous. Most people know it, but if you don't, it's just like these people write these Reddit threads where they just basically ask, like they describe the situation and say whether, and then they're asking whether they're the asshole or the other person or people that they're talking about is. And so Julie doesn't know what this is about, so I'm going to read it to her, and let her get her initial reaction.
Okay.
All right.
Ready.
So the title is "Am I the asshole for telling my sister she needs to get her house cleaned up before she gives birth, or the family will go for custody?"
Oh my gosh.
So I am 32 female, married to 37 male. My sister is 28 female, married to 29 male. Parents are late 50s. Brother is 30, married. My sister is currently pregnant with her first child. The problem is she currently lives in a house with 4 dogs, 3 big dogs and 1 small, all shed a lot, 6 cats, and 3 ducks. Yep, in the house. Her house smells absolutely disgusting. I cannot go in there without wanting to barf. There is also laundry and junk everywhere. There's no clean place to sit or walk. The floor is sticky. There are bugs. It's so gross. She and her husband just got this house last year. I don't know how she made it this gross this quickly. Before this, they lived with her husband's mom. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I really cannot describe how absolutely disgusting this house is right now. However, it's not so far gone that it can't be fixed. She's only 12-ish weeks pregnant, so she has time to get it fixed before the baby is born. Anyway, yesterday my parents went to her house. They live about an hour and a half away, so they don't visit often. And they got into an argument with my sister about it. My dad basically gave her an ultimatum to get the house cleaned in and out, or they will call child welfare when the baby's born and go for custody. My sister called me upset, and I told her I agree with our parents. Her house is disgusting, and I am worried about the welfare of my future niece or nephew. Our brother is in the same boat and will be going with us if she doesn't get it together. There are bugs for Christ's sake, an animal pee poop on the floors. When the child is born, if the house is still disgusting, we're going to do what we have to do to get that baby out of there until she gets her house cleaned. I'm normally a let people do what they do kind of person, but that house is a health hazard, and I can't just sit there and let my niece or nephew live like that. I feel awful about it, but I'm with my parents on this particular ultimatum. However, the thought of calling child services on my sister just feels awful, and I'm not sure if that makes me awful or not. I know my sister can be a good mom, but this whole situation is just, it's gross, and a child shouldn't have to live like that. Are we the assholes?
Okay, so here's my take. Um, I think you need to call somebody, but I don't think you need to wait for Child Protective Services. I think that is a cry for help, and I think your sister needs some help. I think that, we probably all watch those shows, Hoarders, and that sounds like uh, hoarding, pre-hoarding maybe, but with animals and ducks in your house. I mean, there's something I think mentally that needs to be addressed with her. That she would allow, because you don't live in that situation and not realize it. I mean, she has to know it stinks in there. As soon as you walk outside to get your mail and you walk back in the house, you know it stinks. So there's something about her that is causing her to not care. She's self-destructing for some reason, and she needs help.
Well,
I think she needs help.
I, I see what you're saying, but I don't agree that there's a mental health issue. I have an uncle. I have an uncle whose house was just like that. That he had dogs, cats, snakes, lizards, all kinds of animals living in the house.
Yeah.
I don't think he had a mental health issue. He just had a lot of pets. I, I mean,
See, I would probably disagree with that. I think there is something mental about somebody who has that many animals in their house where it stinks and it's not healthy to live there. But,
well, but I mean, and I think the thing that gets me more is that, like, you're going to bring an infant into this house that has to have, I mean,
oh, absolutely.
if there's feces and there's probably duck poop
Oh, it's
full
not healthy.
and stuff, it's completely not healthy.
Oh, no.
That kid's gonna be breathing that stuff in,
Right.
you know. So yeah, I mean, I think that you would say that the person writing this is not the asshole.
No, I don't think he's an asshole.
I think it's a she, but
Oh,
that's okay. Um, one of the and I agree. I mean, I completely agree that no matter what the reasoning behind it is, that why they're doing that, it's terrible. And I will say that the one of the first responses in on Reddit is that it tells them not to wait. They say they're going to wait until the baby is born.
yeah, I don't think you should wait.
Yeah, and that's they said that someone said that they should call child welfare services now, and they can do like a home visit and maybe give her the kick that she needs to get her stuff together, and to have a.
I mean, it's a start.
All right, so I think we're both agreed that the poster there is not the asshole, and that something needs to be done to protect that baby that's about to come into that house, as well as the animals, the other animals that are there.
Right. I agree.
All right, cool.
All right, so one of the segments we want to do is a good news of the week. So first thing we want to talk about in our first session is colorectal screening, colorectal cancer screening, and having
Very
just,
exciting.
yeah, I know, we just cut right to it. Um, Having just done mine, which turned out fine, um, there has to be a better way, and just so happens that this company called Guardant Health has come up with a blood test that can be done that will screen for colorectal cancer. And I can't help but believe that that won't help bring up the averages of the number of people who will actually go and have it done now. And obviously, early detection is key, right?
Yep.
So, one of the articles I read said some 91% of people live 5 years longer if the cancer is removed when it's restricted to the colon. So early detection is really important. And I would just say, if it's time for you to get your colonoscopy, maybe ask your doctor if you're a candidate for the blood test, because certainly is easier than that whole clean out prep situation and going hungry until the procedure is over the next day and you get hangry.
Not you.
Yeah, I was a little bit.
Well, I think that it'll be interesting to see what like how they'll handle that. Because like right now it's like if you're over 45, right?
Right.
You have to they said to get screened.
Yeah.
And then it's like every 10 years.
Yeah, I think 10, unless there's polyps or something.
Right, right. And so I wonder if they'll do something where like maybe every year, every 2 years, something like that, you can get the blood test done.
Yeah.
And then as long as that comes back okay, then you know,
Right.
like because to me it's like, oh, I can just get a blood test and not have to go through all that, but I can test every couple of years to make
Yeah.
sure because like you said, man, I mean 91% can live 5 years or longer.
Yeah.
I mean, so if early detection is the key and all I have to do is give a little blood, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think the only upside to going for the whole old-fashioned situation is that if there are polyps, they can remove those while they're in there. But if you don't have any problems and this is maybe your first or second one, and there's no reason to believe that you have colon cancer in your family or anything like that, then this seems like a really good idea.
Yeah.
So we're not doctors, don't even play one on TV, but we would say get your colonoscopy, whether you have to do it the hard way or the blood test. But it's called Shield, again, by Guardant Health, and maybe check out with your doctor next time you're there.
Yep.
So that's it.
All right.
Um, so want to talk real quick about just getting the podcast up and running. I won't say we, I will say I discovered that this was a little more labor intensive than I thought it was going to be when we started. We did have these brief conversations where we thought some of our dinner time table talk was interesting enough to make a podcast, and we might be crazy. It may not be the case at all, but we're going to try it anyway. So, but from the get-go, you have to pick out a name, which wasn't super easy because everything we came up with was already taken. So you have to first find a name for your podcast that is available. Then, designing your logo, finding music, ordering equipment. We have to, find a distribution site to put it out into the world. And anyway, it's been fun, but it's been a real education. So anyone who decides to, or who even listens to podcasts during the day, they come with a little more work than meets the surface. So, just I thought it was interesting that there was so much to do, really.
Yeah, and a little, peek behind the curtain, as they say. This is our fourth time recording this
Yeah.
episode. So I don't know, man. Um, we'll get better at it. And hopefully people will enjoy it. And we won't have to record so many times. We could kind of make do new topics and talk about different things.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing for me is it's much easier to talk to you about all these things than to try to talk to an audience. And so I have to find that medium space where I'm talking to you, but it's also a conversation other people will be interested in, and include them, invite them into, it's a there's a talent to it that I don't necessarily know if I have yet, but I'm going to try to figure it out. So again, just bear with us. We
I think
promise to try to get better.
I think our next one, we should do like an ask me anything sort of thing
Yeah.
where
So I ask you questions and you ask me.
yeah,
Okay.
so that people can get to know us a little bit, and maybe I'll solicit some questions from people that we know
Yeah.
that might want to know things about Julie that
Oh, oh no. I don't know. We'll have to talk about that.
I think it'd be fun. I mean, I think that it's a good way to get to know people, a little bit more about them. So maybe we'll do that for our next episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I guess with that, we're going to call this one a wrap, right?
Yep.
Okay. So thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate the time. We know all these minutes that we've just taken from your life are valuable to you. You could have been doing 28 other things. So thank you for giving us a listen.
Maybe they are multitasking and they are doing 28 other things.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, we hope you found it worth another listen. We're going to try to do these weekly. To get started, we'll post episode 2 in a couple of days, and that, like we said, that might be like a AMA sort of thing. And as they say, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss it. Thanks again for listening to Now We're Talking. Music today is by Landon Bailey. Opinions are ours and ours alone, and do not necessarily reflect our parent company, our employers, our relatives, our friends, or anyone else that you possibly think of.